Good afternoon and welcome to Law of the Streets. I'm Tom Swanson and I wanted to talk today about what happens when you get sued. Nobody wants to be sued, but let's talk about what a lawsuit is to start with. And that is, a lawsuit is a request to a court, and it is requesting some sort of relief that the court can grant. As an example, the most common form of relief in a lawsuit, which is a civil case, not a criminal case, but the most common form of relief is damages. People sue for money most of the time. Good old USA. A lot of times, people are not sure when they have been sued. How do you know you've been sued? Well, the most common way is the lawsuit has been served upon you in some manner authorized by law. Let me give you some examples. In Texas, there are a number of ways you can be sued as authorized by law. One is that a constable or sheriff deputy can physically serve you with the lawsuit, hand it to you, okay? And, for example, in Houston, they've got constables that drive around the county all day long just going and serving people papers. That's one way. You can be served by the constable also, or sheriff, by certified mail return receipt requested. That's another way. Texas also allows private process servers that are approved. They allow private process servers to serve lawsuits as well. Now, sometimes, whether it's just circumstance or by intent of someone not wanting to get served, but numerous attempts are made to serve somebody, let's say by the constable or sheriff or private process server, and every time they go to serve the person, they're not there, or the person who answers the door says they're not there. But the bottom line is they're not getting served. There's a special motion you can file with the court to allow alternative or substituted service. Things like, basically taping the lawsuit to somebody's door. If they have a gate and fence that's locked up, you can get permission to tape it to their gate. If somebody answers the door and says that the person's never there, you can serve a person who qualifies as being over a certain age. You can serve them in lieu of serving the actual defendant. And in rare instances, you can serve somebody by publishing the notice of the lawsuit in a newspaper of general circulation. That's called citation by publication, and it's not very good notice. Brings up a point. What is it with all these different methods of serving people? Well, under our U.S. Constitution, we have a guaranteed right known as due process of law, and what that means is that you cannot take someone's life, liberty, or property without first giving them fair notice of the misconduct that is alleged and give them the opportunity to be heard. In other words, to speak for themselves, to assert a particular position, either directly or through a lawyer. So there is a constitutional requirement that someone get fair notice of a lawsuit, and that's why it's specified by statute and rule of procedure in Texas. Now, here's what happens. When a lawsuit is filed, it is filed with the clerk of a court. For example, in Texas, we have district courts and county courts. And as a result, we have district clerks and county clerks. So if you file a lawsuit that's going to be in the district court, you file it with the county clerk's office. Nowadays, it's all done electronically by computer. If it's a case, if the lawsuit's in a county court, then you file it with the county clerk's office. Once the clerk gets the lawsuit, the clerk gives it a case number, If there are multiple courts within the court system, they're going to assign it to a specific court, and they're going to prepare a document, a formal notice to be stapled to the lawsuit that informs the person being sued that they are being sued. Okay? In Texas state court, we call that a citation. In federal court, they call it a summons. At any rate, the party that's going to serve the lawsuit picks up from the clerk the lawsuit with the citation stapled to it. And the citation says, basically, gives formal notice you have been sued, how long you have to file a written answer to the suit, and the name and address and telephone number of the attorney who initiated the suit, that sort of thing. So it basically is a notice of suit called a citation. Federal court's a little different. In federal court, what they do is that the lawyer sends the lawsuit to the defendant. Let me back up. In a civil lawsuit, the person filing the suit is called either the plaintiff or the petitioner, one or the other. The person being sued, is going to be receiving the lawsuit, is called either the defendant or the respondent, okay, typically. So at any rate, when you get to the point where a federal lawsuit is to be served, what happens instead is the lawyer sends the lawsuit to the defendant or respondent, along with a letter saying, look, I request that you agree to answer this lawsuit in writing without having to be formally served. If you do that, you get 60 days to answer the suit. So send back this form indicating that it will not be necessary to serve you and that you will answer in 60 days. If the person doesn't send the letter back, indicating that they will answer the lawsuit without being served, then what happens is that you have to have the clerk attach a summons to the lawsuit, and then you can have it served in the same way that state lawsuits are served. And I just went through the authorized methods of service a little while back. Okay, so what happens is at some point in time, typically, the defendant gets papers. Papers are served in some manner upon the defendant. Now, what should the defendant do? Well, first of all, read the paperwork, okay? I mean, the citation should indicate you have been sued. It should indicate how long you have to answer the lawsuit. And if you don't understand it, okay, you're going to do the same thing you should do if you do understand it, and that's contact a lawyer, okay? And you need to contact a lawyer that's experienced in trials, okay, what they call litigation. And you need to get with the attorney and understand from the attorney what your options are, okay? Now, if you fail to respond to the suit, then the court is permitted at some point to issue a default. That's like losing the ball game because you did not show up for the ball game. It's the same thing here. You lose the lawsuit because you did not answer the lawsuit. Okay. Now, what's the smart move here? The smart move is get a lawyer, one that's experienced in handling lawsuits. Let that lawyer handle the lawsuit. If the alternative is not good, and that's if you represent yourself. And I'm just telling you, this is a very bad idea for lots of reasons, but basically it's because you don't know what you're doing. Okay, and even if you come up against a lawyer that's not that good, the lawyer will slaughter you. So just accept that. If you want to be somebody's, pulled pork, then I guess you can go ahead and represent yourself. They call that representing yourself pro se, P-R-O, next word S-E. But even if you're inclined to represent yourself, go see a lawyer. See what information the lawyer can give you. okay? Whatever you do, make sure that you file an answer to the lawsuit on time. If you don't, then you run into problems, okay? So you need to do something about it. Now, just because you've been sued doesn't mean you are liable. It does mean, though, you're going to have to engage the issue. You're going to have to respond to it and see what can be done to get rid of it. Okay. So at any rate, now you know what to do. You get some papers served on you. You better look them over carefully. See if you can find the citation or summons indicating you have been sued and how long you have to answer. Okay. And then contact the lawyer. Contact the lawyer whether you understand exactly what the situation is or you don't. That's a smart move. The only thing that could go, the lawyer, many of them will talk to you initially at no charge, and at least let you know what you're dealing with. Okay. So at any rate, just thought I'd tell you that's what you do when you get sued. Talk to you next time.